Hello, You Revealed Live family. This is Tracey Knight, your self-mastery coach. I had to change venues so that I could be present with you powerfully. And so I've popped out to my car so that I could make sure that you could hear me and I didn't have to talk low because something I want to talk about today, I think, is going to resonate with people. And if you cannot hear me, please do let me know. Okay, great. Thank you. So obviously I was meant to be here doing this and not in there. So today's show, hey Jen, hey Cindy, good to see you. Hey Sin. So today's show is called The Manufactured Life of Fantasy and Illusion. Hey Leon. Yes, the manufactured life of fantasy and illusion. And it's so timely to be talking about this as we enter into the holiday season when people like to create a lot of fantasies about their life and their lifestyle and family and, all of that. And it's all really an illusion. So first of all, let's talk about what these terms mean. Manufactured. Okay. So first of all, manufactured as in man has created a fictitious, a pretend existence that we are operating in. Okay. And that pretend, that illusion, something that is an illusion is created out of fantasy. In other words, the fantasy is the hope and the desire to have something, let's just say something different. It is what your ego, it is what the mind has. I'm going to say it's wrong-minded thinking or perception about who you think you are, who you believe yourself to be, opposed to the truth of who you are. Okay. It is like almost, it is the false-minded thinking of like what these hopes and these dreams of becoming something or being something instead of being who you are in the moment, like who you are, who you were made to be. Hey, Amber. So when we talk about manufactured, we're talking about making. And as we've talked about before, the making of it all comes from ego. It comes from the place of not creation, where creation comes from spirit. It is actually birthed. It is organic. It is authentic. But when we make something, we manufacture again, because we come from spirit. We have the ability to make things because we are very powerful. But if we don't have spirit behind it, it really is built on quicksand. It falls apart. It's not real. It's the difference between reality and illusion, reality and fantasy. And so we have all of these ideas about, hey Janice, about who we are supposed to be. And what we do is we build a whole life around this and then go about pretending to be that person, pretending to have that lifestyle, pretending to be happy, pretending to be at peace, pretending to be in joy, pretending to be courageous, pretending to be satisfied. Hey, Vaughn, pretending. It is not sustainable. And I can speak to this because I've lived the life. My life coach was, we were talking and she said, you are so powerful. She said, because the things that you created, the things that you manufactured in this fantasy life that you created were grandiose, grand. It's all of the, it's everything from what is going to create the big picture. What it's like painting a picture on a canvas, a blank canvas, and you say, what is it that I want to be? What is it I want to make of my life? So what do I have to look like? So people go out and they have the hair in a certain way. For me, I had to always have my hair perfectly coiffed. Whether I was wearing a short cut or a long cut, I always had to have my hair perfectly coiffed. So you're painting the picture. For some people, they can never go out without makeup. painting the picture. I have a person that I know that because they are a darker brown skin, and this person is beautiful, but they don't see it as that. So what they do is they paint their face. They always are, they always got to put all this on to create the illusion of being beautiful. Now, everybody outside of her all believe that she is amazingly beautiful. Her skin is like a beautiful cocoa chocolate and it's smooth. But she's constantly putting on foundation and things because she doesn't believe it. That's what makes it the fantasy. That's what makes it the illusion, because she doesn't even believe it. She's pretending. She's pretending. She's painting a picture of who she is supposed to be. And part of it is because she grew up, hey Shanice, believing that if you are a certain color, that you're not acceptable. So in her humanness, in her humanity, she bought into that. So what she does is she manufactures an image of herself that will be acceptable to her. Because see, the rest of the world sees her in a different light. But in her mind, she's thinking, oh, I can be acceptable to the world if I paint the picture this way. Fantasy, illusion, manufacturing a life. So we go about, again, trying to create a picture of ourselves, making it up as we go along. Physical body. People go and get augmented body parts and, sucking this and inflating that because they're trying to manufacture a better version of themselves. Let me tell you about one of the commercials that I am most unintrigued by. There's a company out there, I won't even call them by name, but what they say is, we're making a better chicken. Do you think that God needs your help to make a better chicken? I think that since he created chickens, he came up with the best version. So for humanity to think that it can one-up God in any way is an illusion of the the most grandiose state. I can't. First of all, it's unconscionable, it's arrogant, and it cannot be done. And that's the same thing about us. We are trying to manufacture ourselves to create an illusion, to satisfy the illusion of the fantasy that we have created. We got to be a certain size in order to be accepted. But it's not just in our physicalness. It goes far beyond that. It is, that's just the I am what I look like. But what about the I am what I have? The I am what I have is, that's why do you think people go out and stay in school trying to get more and more education only to satisfy the checklist of credentials that somebody else has told you that you need? Trying to manufacture expert. You're trying to manufacture yourself as an expert. Trying to, that furniture where you have to put the pieces together. I guess it's IKEA. And there are others that is fabricated and you got to put it all together like this. That's what people are doing with their lives. They're trying to manufacture and put the pieces together to make themselves a whole, to make themselves good enough. So they go out and they get all the education. I am what I have. I'm also all of my possessions, the cars. I got to have, I won't tell you who this is, but I have a relative who, feels like they get their identity through their cars. Everything else around them is in chaos. It's in sheer freaking chaos. But they're going to make sure that they have a car, even if it is the illusion. They have like 4 cars. I'm like, why do you have 4 cars? Why do you need 4 cars? You can only drive one at a time. And it's just you. And it's just you. And I understand, because I'm a person who likes cars. I love like antique cars. I love them. And there's nothing wrong with wanting that, but it all goes back to the intention behind it. What is driving it? What is motivating it? And if we're trying to manufacture our life, you are always going to be living in a delusional, a delusional, which implies insanity, state of being. How about the I am what I do? You got to be the entrepreneur. You got to have the title of CEO. You got to be the one. How about everybody who wants to be the celebrity? They want to be known as this or known as that. But it's also the people who want to be the Mrs. So you go out and you marry somebody just so that you can get the title of being Mrs. You get the title so that people will think that you are worthy of being with. Delusional. You don't even believe it, but you want everybody else to believe that. You know, a friend of mine was telling me last night that, there's this woman who they're in their 60s now, but she married this man who was like a child prodigy. He went to Morehouse and, he went to Morehouse at like 14. So literally like a child prodigy. He was like one of the first to get a doctorate from like Emory and, et cetera, et cetera. So he's had an illustrious career, right? But she married him because he came from a prestigious family. And she married him because of that, because she needed to fabricate, to manufacture a life that was going to elevate her and make her believe that she was worth something. This issue of worthiness is serious. And it's serious because deep down inside, what every single person on this planet is really struggling with is self-hatred. Self-hatred, including me. I'm not absolving myself of that. And it is the quest now to come out of that, to heal that. And the only way to heal that is to allow it to come up, to acknowledge it, and to replace it with love for yourself, to fall in love with yourself. That's the only way. But you have to be able to acknowledge the places where you see yourself diminished in your own eyes. In your own eyes. And to detach yourself from the need for validation from other people. Even in the career, the I am what I do. These are the 5 flawed thinking, belief systems that we have. I am what I do, meaning that if I go out and I become all of this, then people will think I'm worth something. People will think that I'm an expert. People will think that I'm the man. People will think that I'm the woman. I'm number one. No. Because what it does is it creates, first of all, it forces you to try to chase what you perceive to be as an elevated state. It forces you to go after stuff that really, it's not even supposed to be in you. Like it's not even supposed to be in your genre. So let me give you an example because I'm not doing a good job of explaining this piece. It forces you to go into career fields, into positions. You accept positions, you accept roles, you pursue certain type of business. Let me give you an example. Several years ago, I had decided I was going to get out of the nonprofit and educational industry because I was tired and I was burnt out. And I remember a friend of mine said, how are you going to not do that which you are? And I was like, I'm tired. I'm done with this. I'm going to go and buy a Quiznos franchise. Now, can you all see me running a Quiznos franchise? There's nothing wrong with Quiznos. I don't have anything against it. That's not the issue. The issue is, is that really who I am called to be, is to own several Quiznos franchises and be in there, like not necessarily that I had to work behind the counter, but to just manage it. That's not even me. And if I had done that, I wouldn't be here with you today. Because the only reason that I'm here with you today is because I have said yes to being a master teacher. am the self-mastery coach. Not because you say it, not because I show up on this show every day, but because that is what I was created to be. I was born to do this. It feels so natural for me. That's why to get on here every day, it's not a big deal for me. Because every day that I get on here to talk to you about a manufactured lifestyle, all I'm doing is talking about myself. That's all it is I'm talking about what it is, the lessons that I've learned, and we teach that which we need to learn or have learned. So it's organic for me. I don't have to work at it. I don't have to work hard. I don't have to grind. I don't have to hustle. I don't have to do that. All I have to do is to open myself up and be a vessel for God to speak through me, because I'm a representative, an ambassador for Spirit, and so are you. The question is, how has Spirit asked you to show up as an ambassador? And did you accept the charge, or did you decide to take fabricated wood, which is pretend wood, not even real wood? You take fabricated pieces of yourself, ain't even real, and then put that stuff together to build your life. And then let me get to the fantasy piece, and then I'm going to wrap this up. The fantasy piece, Lord have mercy. This is where we hold the image in our mind, and we are desperate and destitute to hold it all together. We painted the picture. We done put all the fabricated pieces together. Now we're desperate to try to hold it together. So we go about, people, even for the holidays, they're going to put up trees. They're going to go out and buy all these gifts that they really don't even have the money for. Right? Only to be able to say that they got this and they got that and they did this, and and then they're going to invite family over. Half of them they don't even like, they fighting with underneath. They feel resentful of, but they will create a whole week or 2 weeks of experiences where they don't even feel whole. They don't even feel happy. They don't even feel joy. There is no peace in their life. It's a fantasy. They painted the picture. It's all fabricated. And they wonder why they are miserable. They wonder why they're miserable. And they're miserable because you're pretending. And it's built on quicksand, so it's never going to hold. It's never going to last. And we're powerful enough that we can manufacture something and it'll look good. You may even be able to do it for years, but it's at a cost, and the cost is your sanity. The cost is your joy. And then it slowly starts to crumble. And when it crumbles, then you get desperate and destitute to try to put all the stuff together again. Like you grabbing at pieces. So you go in more debt. You try to force yourself to stay in certain relationships because that person is a part of the picture, the illusion that you created for your life. The fantasy. And then here's the last piece that I want to say, and then I want to get to Cindy's comment. The last piece is your ego is so insistent and so powerful that all it wants to do is survive. So even when you start to do this work as a self-master, to master your own life, it will keep sending your thoughts. Let's say you have a breakup, okay? It will send your thoughts back to the fantasy of, oh, remember when we were this? And oh, remember when we did that? And here you all are broken up, right? You know the relationship is not even for you, okay? Maybe you got divorced. The relationship is not even for you. You know that you really feel better out of it. You can even feel better, but your mind will send you back to, oh, but our children, it looks so pretty. Who was that told me? I have a friend. That's right. She's been divorced, and she started getting all sad because she was thinking about, the fact that her whole family was together, and they were sitting by the Christmas tree. These people fought all the freaking time. That's a fucking illusion. That's lies and garbage, as Milani Shani would say. Lies and garbage. fantasy that you are convincing yourself that is the truth, and it's not. You can't make it be the truth. You can't even force it to be the truth. Let me see what Cindy says. It's obvious this is what you're called to do. You speak with energy and credibility. I appreciate that, Doris, so much. You know, I mean, I can speak to this because I have lived it. I have lived it. I have lived creating the fantasy and illusion and desperate to try to keep and hold it all together and afraid to walk powerfully and afraid to trust spirit. And, you know, because all I knew was to trust my mind, which is very powerful. All I knew was to analyze things and deductive reasoning and what seemed like it would work and what, you know, and to do that, to go after it and make it happen, make it happen. That's all I knew. But there is something else. And it's bigger. It's stronger. It's sustainable. And it's available for everybody. All you have to do is choose it. So Cindy, if your calling is to get that girls center together, get your ass in gear and get it done. Because somebody is waiting for you to serve them. I don't care what it takes. Everything will line up when you get you out of the way. Because see, here's the thing I'm realizing. It's not even about me. I'm not even doing, half the time, I don't even know what the hell I've said to y'all. I don't remember. People have asked me like, well, you said blah, 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 blah. And it's not because I'm making it up. It's because I'm a vessel. That's why, because I'm not attached to, you know, what it is that I've said. I just came and was obedient, and I'm just saying what is coming up for me right now. And when I take a pause, something else pops in. So that's what you have to do. Whatever you're called to do, Shanice, you make the world beautiful. You make people feel amazing. Go do that. You know, Sin, you are empowering educators to be better, to be the best they can be, and they need it. They need it because they are leaving our children behind, and we have got to have strong educators. And I'm getting ready to turn my attention towards teachers. I'm coming for you, because educators of all types, because we cannot afford to have generations and generations of young people that do not have strong, authentic teachers who have been called to the profession, who've been born to be in the profession. Not people who defaulted into it because they got fired, laid off, and just want a freaking second career. We are not a freaking dumping ground. We're not. And it's our children that are bucking up against it because they know that we have not shown up with the right people, the righteous teachers. That is those who come to share their system of knowledge with no attachment to it. Like, I'm not attached to any of this. I'm not attached to what I'm sharing, because the truth is, even if you took what I'm saying, nobody can do what I do, because I am who I am. And you're who you are. You may take the same content and you may go do it the way you do. Good for you. Somebody out there is supposed to be served by you. Good for you. But I'm going to show up and be me. And I'm building it on the most stable of ground. The foundation for everything, which is spirit. And I'm going to close with that. So I want us to look at where we are manufacturing our life. In what areas have we manufactured our life and created a fantasy, painted a picture in our mind, and then we are desperate to sustain that illusion, and we are pulling at pieces to keep it all together. And what we're doing is creating more fear, more anxiety, more resentment, more guilt, more shame. And we're not happy with it. So let's turn the tide. All we got to do is turn the tide. Make the choice. There's no, as I said yesterday, you don't have to dream when you can have the truth. That's it. That's it for today. I'll be back with you again tomorrow. Peace.